around Yashoda Prabhu. I sent it to him, and I showed my son today here this video. This person is unfortunately very sick. Sick in the head and sick in the body. And he's speaking, it's like complete mental concoction. Anybody with half a brain would look at this. And I showed my son, Abhicharan, who's with me. I showed him, take a look at this. Man, he's so disturbed. This is the ISKCON situation. How these people can be accepted as Diksha Guru is inconceivable, but misinformation, misrepresentation, all these things that go into the deep state are present in the ISKCON group. And we must know this, Prabhus, that we have to fight against this. Now, we can't do it by election. Election is not possible. There is no electing there. It's just a straight state of confusion there. But a deliverance of truth is what we need to do, to explain to other people politely, with conviction, that the truth of the matter is Prabhupada still lives in his Vani incarnation. He really does. And for us that are studying the books like we do, and for chanting our rounds and making a sincere effort to serve him, he lives with us. Prabhupada lives in sound. That quote at the end of our class is not just a token quote. It's a reality for the real devotees, because life is very ephemeral. It's a changing state of existence, and it is a reality that all of us have to accept, that there is birth and death. But while we're living in this body, we have to engage in serving the pure devotee spiritual master in his Vani incarnation. We must do it. We had an example of our Prakrita Prabhu, our godbrother, who loved our classes, by the way. He was a big supporter of this, and he was purely serving Srila Prabhupada, not for 1 year, for many, many, many years of his life. And in this way, he was able to leave this world in Kṛṣṇa consciousness, Vijaya Pandit. Leave this world on a transcendental platform of spiritual realization, not mental speculation. I wanted to go to, hopefully we can do this, Nilesh, go to the Nectar of Devotion. And I wanted to read Rareness of Pure Devotional Service, just a brief section here. On page 16 of the Nectar of Devotion, at least in this copy I have, Rareness of Pure Devotional Service. In the preliminary phase of spiritual life, there are different kinds of austerities, penances, and similar processes for attaining self-realization. However, even if an executor, yes.
Sorry to interrupt. Can you give me chapter and verse number?
Yeah, it's from the Nectar of Devotion.
Yes.
It is in the characteristics of pure devotional service.
What chapter is that?
It's chapter 1. Chapter 1, characteristics of pure devotional service. Rareness of pure devotional service. So it's page 16. It's not a verse. It's a written explanation by Srila Prabhupada of the philosophy. There we go. Thank you, sir.
Nectar of Devotion, chapter 1.
Characteristics of pure devotional service, yes. And go down to page 16. I don't know how to describe.
This doesn't give us. Can you give me a paragraph before it?
Rareness of pure devotional service. That's the heading. Rareness. So keep going. The heading should be there.
Oh, there's no heading in this one.
Relief from material distress.
One who is not in Krishna consciousness, tantra, happiness derived,
In the
mystic
preliminary
perfection.
phase, oh, I don't know if you'll be able to find
Modern
it.
scientists, the mystic,
Foolish people.
foolishly big
Oh,
just the
okay.
beginning
Keep
of the.
going. Keep going. You're close. Keep
Okay.
going. Okay. Keep going.
In
In the
the preliminary
preliminary
phase,
phase of spiritual life, there are different kinds of austerities, penances, and similar processes for attaining self-realization. However, even if an executor of these processes was without any material desire, he still cannot achieve devotional service. And aspiring by oneself alone to achieve a devotional service is also not very hopeful, because Kṛṣṇa does not agree to award devotional service to merely anyone. Very important point here. So there's a formula. Kṛṣṇa can easily offer a person material happiness or even liberation. Excuse me, but he does not agree very easily to award a person engagement in his devotional service. We have to respect this opportunity. We have to. Don't minimize it. Don't become enamored by people that have money, that have material success, and think, oh, or a political leader. Oh, they're the greatest people. Look at their success. No, the greatest success is this opportunity. There is nothing higher than this in the entire universe. Please appreciate this opportunity like we do. Myself and Yashoda very much do appreciate this opportunity. Kṛṣṇa can easily offer a person material happiness. Yes, you can get millions of dollars like Taylor Swift, or even liberation, but he does not agree very easily to award a person engagement in his devotional service. I told this Sean Evans online. This is what you should strive for, but your problem is you don't listen. You're not submissive. You're in the mental plane of independence. Devotional service can, in fact, be attained only through the mercy of a pure devotee. His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, not by these other fake gurus. This is absolutely the deep state of confusion and abuse. These people are going to suffer. Kṛṣṇa can easily offer a person material happiness. Okay. In the Chaitanya Charitamrita, Madhya 19, 151 verse, chapter 19, by the mercy of the spiritual master, who is a pure devotee, let's not have any confusion here, let's say the words, His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada, the pure devotee of Lord Chaitanya of Bhaktisiddhanta, and by the mercy of Kṛṣṇa, one can achieve the platform of devotional service. There is no other way. Any confusion, Mother Rochisha? Is there? Is there any confusion, anyone here, that we're not speaking the truth by reading this and helping each of us to understand these facts? Kṛṣṇa can easily offer, okay. The rarity of devotional service is also confirmed in the Tantra Shastra, where Lord Shiva says to Sati, my dear Sati, if one is a very fine philosopher, analyzing the different processes of knowledge, he can achieve liberation from the material entanglement. By performance of the ritualistic sacrifices recommended in the Vedas, one can be elevated to the platform of pious activities and thereby enjoy the material comforts of life to the fullest extent. But all such endeavors can hardly offer anyone devotional service not even if one tries for it by the process, such processes, for many, many thousands of births. In the Srimad Bhagavatam, it is also confirmed by Prahlad Maharaj that merely by personal efforts or by the instructions of higher authorities, one cannot attain to the stage of devotional service. And here is the critical statement, Prabhus. One must become blessed by the dust of the lotus feet of a pure devotee, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, His divine grace. Not these bogus gurus in this ISKCON group, please. He is completely freed from the contaminations of material desires. So we'll end with that very profound explanation of a great opportunity that people who are members of this society, and we do have an initiation process that we're going to introduce to everyone for those that want formal initiation, and an oath of allegiance to our group that you're committed to this mission to protect the legacy of Srila Prabhupada for the rest of your life. Because this is the most important service on this planet, Earth, right now. Not being a Democrat, not being a Republican, not being a libertarian, not being a conservative, not being a liberal, not being an NDP, but being a committed member of the Prabhupada Disciples Association, Hare Krishna Society. Believe in this. What we say is we're not making this up. Whether you accept or not, that's your choice. I always tell people, do what you've got to do. That's your choice. If you don't like it, go make your own class or go do something. We're not telling you go away. We're telling you you have an option. But we do want people that are with us to be part of this. This is how it works. I don't care what organization it is, whether it's a football team, a government, a basketball team. The team is the means. The teamwork of a group of people committed to the same cause is the means by which they achieve success. It is not a one-man show. And we do need people to work with us. So we'll move forward now with the chanting of Jaya Radha Madhava. And then the wonderful explanation. I'm glad we're here. I was a bit worried. I thought we'd lose the class, hey, Ruchisha. I was a bit where I thought, oh, well. Even the big telecommunications companies, Nilesh, sometimes they have a breakdown. And thank you. You must have rushed back to your house from your car. I'm betting it. I'm guessing it. I thought, okay, I guess, but he did. He rushed back in his car back to his house so we could do this. So thank you, Prabhu, for your service. To Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai, Jaya Radha Madhava. Let's hear the chanting.
Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jashodanandana Brajajana Ranjana Jashodanandana Brajajana Ranjana Jamuna Tira Banachari Jamuna Tira Banachari Jaya Radha Madhava Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Yasodhanandana Vrajajana Ranjana Yasodhanandana Vrajajana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Banachari Yamuna Tira Banachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kṛṣṇa Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kṛṣṇa Bihari Jaya Muspa Paramahansa Parivrajagacharya Sattva Smadhati Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Bhagavad Ki Jai Ananta Koti Vaishnava Ki Jai Namacharya Shri Haridas Thakur Ki Jai Prem Se Kaho Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaur Bhaktamani Ki Jai Shri Shri Radha Krishna Bhog Bhavanath Sam Khanda Radha Khanda Giri Godan Ki Jai Vrindavan Dham Ki Jai Navadvip Dham Ki Jai Ganga Mai Ki Jai Jamuna Mai Ki Jai Guru Dwarka Dham Ki Jai Swamavita Bhaktavinda Ki Jai All glories to the Assembly. All glories to the Assembly. Thank you very much.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. O my Lord Sri Krishna, the son of Vasudeva, the all-pervading personality of Godhead, I offer my respectful obeisances unto you. From Srimad Bhagavatam 1:1:1. There's some echo in the program. I don't know if it can be removed. Narayanam namaskritya. Narayanam namaskritya. Naram cheva narottamam. Naram cheva narottamam. Devim saraswatim vyasam. Devim saraswatim vyasam tato jayam mudirayat. Tato jayam mudirayat. One should utter the means of conquest, Srimad Bhagavatam and Srimad Bhagavad Gita, after offering respectful obeisances, 1, to the personality of Godhead Narayana, 2, to the Narayana Rishi, who is the supermost human being, 3, to the Mother Saraswati, the goddess of learning, then 4, to Srila Vyasadeva, the author, from Srimad Bhagavatam 1-4. Welcome everyone to this reading and discussion, sometimes called a class, on Srimad Bhagavad Gita. Despite the few technical difficulties, we greatly appreciate the work of Neil Shyama Prabhu, Nilesh Prabhu, and his steadfast participation and management of the program. As we do every week, we will be reading a few selected verses from the introduction to the Bhagavad Gita. These verses were introduced by Srila Prabhupada himself early on in early 1966 in New York, USA, when he was conducting his first Bhagavad Gita classes in America. Om Ajnana Timirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah. I was born in the darkest ignorance, and my spiritual master opened my eyes with the torch of knowledge. I offer my respectful obeisances unto him. Sri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Svapadantikam. When will Srila Rupa Goswami Prabhupada, who has established within this material world the mission to fulfill the desire of Lord Chaitanya, give me shelter under his lotus feet? Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathan Anvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Sabadhutam Parijana Sahitam Kṛṣṇa Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Kṛṣṇa Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha. I offer my respectful obeisances unto the lotus feet of my spiritual master and unto the feet of all Vaishnavas. I offer my respectful obeisances unto the lotus feet of Srila Rupa Goswami, along with his elder brother Sanatana Goswami, as well as Raghunath Dasa and Raghunath Bhatta, Gopala Bhatta and Srila Jiva Goswami. I offer my respectful obeisances to Lord Kṛṣṇa Chaitanya and Lord Nityananda, along with Advaita Acharya, Gadadhar, Srivas, and other associates. I offer my respectful obeisances to Srimati Radharani and Sri Kṛṣṇa, along with their associates Sri Lalita and Vishaka. He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpati Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostuti. O my dear Krishna, you are the friend of the distressed and the source of creation. You are the master of the gopis and the lover of Radharani. I offer my respectful obeisances unto you. Tapta Kanchana Gourangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye. I offer my respects to Radharani, whose bodily complexion is like molten gold, and who is the queen of Vrindavana. You are the daughter of King Vrishabhanu, and you are very dear to Lord Krishna. Vanchakalpa tarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya evacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. I offer my respectful obeisances unto all the Vaishnava devotees of the Lord, who can fulfill the desires of everyone, just like desire trees, and who are full of compassion for the fallen soul. Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda, Sri Advaita Gadadhara Sri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. We are reading from the Srimad Bhagavad Gita, the 1972 original, non-edited, non-interpolated, non-adulterated version. Today we will be reading from chapter 11, text number 55. We are reading from page number 593. From the beginning, a devotee of Krishna is friendly to everyone. It's page 593. I don't think that's... It says, a devotee of Krishna is friendly to everyone. It's the last two paragraphs of the long purport. Yes. A devotee, let me read the Sanskrit text first, then we'll proceed with the purport. Mat karma krin mat paramo mat bhaktaha sangavarjitaha nirveraha sarva bhuteshu yah samam iti pandava mat karma krit. Engage in doing my work. Mat paramaha, concerning me, the Supreme. Mat bhaktaha, engage in my devotional service. Sangha varjitaha, freed from the contamination of previous activities and mental speculation. Nirvaraha, without an enemy. Sarva bhuteshu, to every living entity. Ya, one who. Sa, he. Mam, unto me. Eti, comes. Pandava, O son of Pandu. Translation by Srila Prabhupada. My dear Arjuna, one who is engaged in my pure devotional service, free from the contamination of previous activities and from mental speculation, who is friendly to every living entity, certainly comes to me. Purport by His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada. Again, we are reading from page 593, continuing from the last reading. A devotee of Krishna is friendly to everyone. Therefore, it is said here that he has no enemy. How is this? A devotee situated in Krishna consciousness knows that only devotional service to Krishna can relieve a person from all the problems of life. He has personal experience of this, and therefore he wants to introduce this system, Krishna consciousness, into human society. There are many examples in history of devotees of the Lord risking their lives for the spreading of God consciousness. The favorite example is Lord Jesus Christ. He was crucified by the non-devotees, but he sacrificed his life for spreading God consciousness. Of course, it would be superficial to understand that he was killed. Similarly, in India, also there are many examples, such as Thakur Haridasa. Why such risk? Because they wanted to spread Krishna consciousness, and it is difficult. A Krishna conscious person knows that if a man is suffering, it is due to his forgetfulness of his eternal relationship with Krishna. Therefore, the highest benefit one can render to human society is relieving one's neighbor from all material problems. In such a way, a pure devotee is engaged in the service of the Lord. Now we can imagine how merciful Krishna is to those engaged in his service, risking everything for him. Therefore, it is certain that such persons must reach the supreme planet after leaving the body. In summary, the universal form of Krishna can everybody, I'm going to interrupt here for a minute. Can everybody put their microphones on mute, please? Because the echo is still persisting. In summary, the universal form of Krishna, which is a temporary manifestation, and the form of time which devours everything, and even the form of Vishnu, four-handed, have all been exhibited by Krishna. Thus, Krishna is the origin of all these manifestations. It is not that Krishna is a manifestation of the original Vishwarupa or Vishnu. Krishna is the origin of all forms. There are hundreds and thousands of Vishnus, but for a devotee, no form of Krishna is important but the original form, two-handed Shyamasundar. In the Brahma Samhita, it is stated that those who are attached to the Shyamasundar form of Krishna in love and devotion can see him always within the heart and cannot see anything else. One should understand, therefore, that the purport of this 11th chapter is that the form of Krishna is essential and supreme. Om Ajnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshuran Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Bhakti Siddhanta Shishyaya Bhakti Vedanta Namine Prasannaya Prashantaya Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Bhagavad Vandanam Kadyam Guru Vandana Purvakam Kshiram Sharkara Yuktam Kadatehi Visheshatam Adadana Strinam Danter Idam Yache Punaha Punaham Srimaduru Papadam Bhoja Dhulisyam Janma Janmani Amsho Bhagavato Smyaham Sadadaso Asmi Sarabata Tat Kripa Pikshako Nityam Tat Prishta Shatakaromisvam Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. In this
Hare Krishna
purport,
Prabhuji. Hare Krishna
yes,
Prabhuji. Can I interrupt? I think you are logged in into from two devices. That is why you're having the echo. You need to log off from one of the devices.
okay, let me just take care of that now. Sorry. Okay. Maybe that solved the problem. I'm sorry, I didn't realize that. I'm technologically a little challenged. In this particular purport of Bhagavad Gita, Srila Prabhupada is summarizing the entire 11th chapter. Prabhupada is saying, the purport of this 11th chapter is that the form of Krishna is essential and supreme. Now, we do know from Prabhupada's teachings that he often quotes from the Brahma Samhita, Ramadi Murti Shukala Niyamena Tishtan, Nana Avatara Makarat Kintari, that the form of Krishna, Krishna Swayam Samabhavat Paramah Pumanyo. In other words, the transcendental form of Krishna is the original form of all the other Vishnu forms. This is the conclusion of Lord Brahma in the Brahma Samhita, also in the Bhagavad Gita itself, Krishna explains in chapter 7, Mattaparataram nanyat kinchidasti dhananjaya, that there is no truth superior to me. In the 10th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, text number 8, Krishna explains, Aham sarvasya prabhavo matta sarvam pravartate, that I am the source of everything. Everything, both material and spiritual, is coming from Krishna. And there are also numerous other references in Vedic literatures, such as the Gopal Tapani Upanishad. Oh, here we go. This is Bhagavad Gita, chapter 10, text number 8. Aham sarvasya prabhavo matta sarvam pravartate iti matva bhajante mam buddhabhava samanvitaha. Translation, I am the source of all spiritual and material worlds. Everything emanates from me. The wise who perfectly know this engage in my devotional service and worship me with all their hearts. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. A learned scholar who has studied the Vedas perfectly and has information from authorities like Lord Chaitanya, and who knows how to apply these teachings, can understand that Krishna is the origin of everything in both the material and spiritual worlds. And because he knows this perfectly, he becomes firmly fixed in the devotional service of the Supreme Lord. He can never be deviated by any amount of nonsensical commentaries or by fools. All Vedic literature agrees that Krishna is the source of Brahma, Shiva, and all other demigods. In the Atharva Veda, Gopal Tapani Upanishads 124, it is said, Yo Brahmanam Vidadati Purvam Yo Vedam Sagapayati Sma Krishna. It was Krishna who in the beginning instructed Brahma in Vedic knowledge and who disseminated Vedic knowledge in the past. Then Prabhupada goes on with numerous quotations from various Vedic literatures. Now, this is very important because sometimes certain classes of Vaishnavas and transcendentalists would argue that Vishnu or Narayana is the origin of Krishna, that Krishna is simply an avatar of Vishnu. But according to the acharyas of the Gaudiya Sampradaya, specifically Jiva Goswami, Rupa Goswami, Sanatan Goswami, Gopal Bhatta Goswami, and the great commentator Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur and Baladevi Bhusana, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, and our Srila Prabhupada, they have concluded that Lord Krishna, following, all these acharyas follow in the line of Sri Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, that Lord Krishna, the transcendental two-handed form of Lord Krishna, is the original Supreme Personality of Godhead from whom all avatars, all incarnations come. Now, this is greatly detailed by Srila Prabhupada in numerous places in his books, based upon the writings of Srila Jiva Goswami. Jiva Goswami in his Krishna Sandabhra has gone through numerous Vedic literatures to explain systematically how Lord Krishna is the original Supreme Personality of Godhead. And he quotes from the Srimad Bhagavatam, Eti cham sakala pumsa Krishnastu Bhagavan Swayam, that Lord Krishna is the original form of the personality of Godhead. This is the same as the conclusion of the Brahma Samhita, Ramadi Murtishu Kala Niyamanatishtan, Nanavataram Akarad Bhuvanishu Kintu, Krishna Swayam Samababat Paramapumanyo, Govindamari Purusham Tamaham Bhajami. This is the verse from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 3, Text 28. Eti cham sakalaha pumsaha, Krishnastu Bhagavan Swayam, Indrari Vyakulam Lokam Mridayanti Yuge Yuge. All of the above mentioned incarnations are either plenary portions or portions of the plenary portions of the Lord. But Lord Sri Krishna is the original personality of Godhead. All of them appear on planets whenever there is a disturbance created by the atheist. The Lord incarnates to protect the theist. Now, it is sometimes argued against this conclusion by various individuals, but as far as we are concerned, we accept the version of Jiva Goswami, following in footsteps of our Lord Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And the activities of Lord Krishna, when he was personally present on this planet, explains this very nicely. Just this week, I had a devotee ask me a question that why is it that Lord Krishna, in the Krishna book, it is described that there was a big fight between Banasura and Lord Krishna, where there was a big fight between the Narayana Astra and the Shiva Astra, the Shiva Jvara. And ultimately, the Narayana Astra or Narayana Jvara ultimately won the fight. Now, this is very important because in the Shastras, there are numerous stories which can be very bewildering to various devotees. In other words, unless we hear the commentaries and the explanation from the great authorized acharyas, it can be very, very confusing. That is why Srila Prabhupada gave the Krishna book. He gave all of these explanations in the Srimad Bhagavatam, so somebody can systematically study very nicely with Srila Prabhupada's explanations. He has summarized all the commentaries of all the great acharyas. We had an interesting experience when we went in southern Tamil Nadu in 1972. We had gone to Bangalore and we were invited to do a program in another city, very much in the lower part of Tamil Nadu, the southern part of India. So we approached a gentleman to become a life member, and we present him the Krishna book. And this gentleman was a follower of Lord Shiva. He was a follower of Adi Shankaracharya. So they wear a different kind of tilak called Tripundra. They put ashes on their body. And this person became agitated when we showed him the Krishna book. He says, "Why do you have Krishna book? Why don't you have Shiva book?" And we explained to him, because Lord Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So then he started to try to argue, no, Lord Shiva is supreme, Lord Shiva is the best. I said, well, you may say that, but the conclusion of all the acharyas is Lord Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and everything is nicely explained in the Krishna book. This is a translation of the entire Srimad Bhagavatam 10th canto, called the Dashama Skanda, and all of Krishna's activities prove that no one is superior to Krishna. Of course, the man was not to be pacified, but this is an example of the kind of contamination and misleading Mayavadi influence in certain parts of India. Okay, we have a nice verse here. What is that? What is the translation? Oh, Vaishnavanam Yata Sambhuhu, that Lord Shiva is the greatest of Vaishnavas. Yes. Just as the Ganga is the greatest of all rivers, Lord Achyuta, the supreme among deities, and Lord Shambhu, Shiva, the greatest of Vaishnavas, so Srimad Bhagavatam is the greatest of all Puranas. Now, this is very important because when it comes to studying Vedic literatures, there is no higher scripture than the Srimad Bhagavatam. Srila Jiva Goswami Prabhupada has explained this in considerable detail in his book called Tattva Sandarbha, in which he analyzed all the Vedic scriptures and why Srimad Bhagavatam is the topmost Vedic literature. And he has quoted from the Garuda Purana, where he explained, Artoyam Brahmasutanam Bharartartha Vinirnayaha, that the Srimad Bhagavatam is the natural commentary on the Brahma Sutra, and the explanation, complete explanation of the Mahabharata. We'll leave it at that, open it up for discussion and further commentary, and thanks everybody for participating. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Yashodanandana Prabhu. We're going to move forward with further discussion on these verses with our panel. And I wanted to go back to the nectar of devotion just briefly and continue on with the reading and the importance of devotional service, because it was explained in the verse today, only devotional service to Kṛṣṇa can relieve a person from all the problems of life. And there are many problems we all face. We won't go into that, but I wanted to read here. This is from characteristics of devotional, pure devotional service. In the Srimad Bhagavatam, it is also confirmed by Prahlad Maharaj that merely by personal efforts, let's see where we are, no. In the Srimad Bhagavatam, it was just where we were, Prabhu, if you can find that. Nilesh, I know this particular version doesn't break it down.
Page 17.
Page 17. In the Srimad Bhagavatam, it is also confirmed by Prahlad Maharaj that merely by personal efforts or by the instructions of higher authorities, one can attain to the stage of devotional service. One must be blessed by the dust of the lotus feet of a pure devotee, His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta. There we are. No, I don't think that is. Yes, there it is. Must be blessed by the dust of the lotus feet of a pure devotee who is completely freed from the contamination of material desires. So this is how we can discriminate between bona fide guru and illicit guru. Prabhupada, definitely as we're reading the diaries, and I must apologize everyone, because of the short class today, we didn't get a chance to read from the diaries, which we are moving forward in our discussions with, and gives deep insight into how to practice devotional service according to Prabhupada's personal example. In the 5th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, 6th chapter, 18th verse, Narada also says to Yudhisthira, "My dear king, it is Lord Kṛṣṇa, known as Mukunda, who is the eternal protector of the Pandavas and the Yadus. He is your spiritual master and instructor in every respect, just like Srila Prabhupada is for us. He is the only worshipable God for you. He is very dear and affectionate, and He is the director of all your activities, both individual and familia. And what's more, He sometimes carries out your orders as if He were your messenger. My dear king, how very fortunate you are, because for others, all these favors given to you by the Supreme Lord were not even dreamt of. Just so if we serve the spiritual master, then Kṛṣṇa will fulfill even our greatest desires." The purport of this verse is that the Lord easily offers liberation, but He rarely agrees to offer a soul devotional service. Because by devotional service, the Lord Himself becomes purchased by the devotee. So he who says he is my devotee, Kṛṣṇa says, he is not my devotee, but he who is the servant of my pure devotee, His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami, Srila Prabhupada, he is my devotee. And this is the secret of Krishna consciousness that must be exposed to the world. Only through devotional service to the spiritual master, the bona fide spiritual master, can one get out of this entanglement of material life. I wanted to go back to Yashodanandana Prabhu for further discussion, and then we're going to ask Pure Angelo and Chaitanya Das and Nilesh to give further comments in our panel. But first, Yashodanandana Prabhu.
Okay, I wanted the last class we had the other day, we dealt with a very important topic pertaining to the practice of devotional service. We discussed a quotation from Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. This was the pastime of the Gundicha Mandir, the cleansing of the Gundicha Mandir in Jagannath Puri. And our Srila Prabhupada in the purport quoted his Guru Maharaj, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, who was basically explaining that one has to be very careful in the practice of devotional service. And Prabhupada said, a neophyte, this is from Chaitanya Charitamrita, Madhya Lila, chapter 12, text 135. Madhya Lila of Chaitanya Charitamrita, chapter 12, text 135. I'm just going to briefly quote from our discussion. In the purport, Prabhupada said, as an example of pratishta asa, one may attempt to imitate Srila Haridas Thakur by living in a solitary place. One's real desire may be for name and fame. In other words, one thing that fools will accept one to be as good as Haridas Thakur just because one lives in a solitary place. These are all material desires. A neophyte devotee is certain to be attacked by other material desires, namely desires for women and money. In this way, the heart is again filled with dirty things and becomes harder and harder, like that of a materialist. Gradually, one desires to become a reputed devotee or an avatar. Now, why we're quoting this is because this has come up in numerous discussions with different devotees recently. Why is it that some devotees, the question comes up, why is it that some devotees seem to be so obsessed to try to promote themselves? There's an obvious disease of self-promotion and self-aggrandizement. Why is that? And Prabhupada explains this. This desire to become a reputed devotee or a big devotee or a famous devotee, this is not the pure desire of a real devotee. We never saw Jayananda or Aprakrita display these kinds of desires. All they were concerned about was to render service in a surrender, humble attitude. And this should always be our desire. This is very important. This is thank you very much, Nilesh. He's displaying, if you move towards the end of the purport, that's where that particular section is, in the middle somewhere. You know, I respectfully suggest that every devotee should really study this purport in the Chaitanya Charitamrita. There is a lot of very important points, and Prabhupada is quoting his Guru Maharaj about all the dangers about pratishtasa, Nishidachara. That this is the section here. Okay, go further down a little bit. Here's the line here. A neophyte devotee is certain to be attacked by other material desires as well, namely desires for women and money. In nowadays, you could add probably in parentheses and little boys and little girls. In this way, the heart is again filled with dirty things and becomes harder and harder, like that of a materialist. Gradually, one desires to become a reputed devotee or an avatar incarnation. And this goes along with another purport that I've been studying very carefully, where Srila Prabhupada explains, this is a different text from Chaitanya Charitamrita, This is from Adi Lila, chapter 17. Let me see here. No, this is Madhya Lila, chapter 19, text 160. Madhya Lila of Chaitanya Charitamrita, chapter 19, text 160. In the purport, Srila Prabhupada explains, the unwanted creepers have been described by Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakura. He states that if one hears and chants without trying, oh, beautiful, very nice. Let's go in the second paragraph of the purport. Yes. The unwanted creepers have been described by Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. He states that if one hears and chants without trying to give up offenses, one becomes materially attached to sense gratification. One may also desire freedom from material bondage like the Mayavadis, or one may become attached to yoga siddhis and desire wonderful yogic powers. If one is attached to wonderful material activities, one is called siddhi lobi, greedy for material perfection. One may also be victimized by diplomatic or crooked behavior, or one may associate with women for illicit sex. Others may make a show of devotional service like the Prakrita Sahajiyas, or one may try to support his philosophy by joining some caste or identifying himself with a certain dynasty, claiming a monopoly on spiritual advancement. Now, this is very important section here. Thus, with the support of family tradition, one may become a pseudo-guru or so-called spiritual master. One may become attached to the four sinful activities, illicit sex, intoxication, gambling, and meat-eating, or one may consider the Vaishnava to belong to a mundane caste or creed. And Prabhupada goes on with so many descriptions. The point is, Prabhupada is explaining in his purport about the tendency to associate, to claim a monopoly on spiritual advancement, and one may become a pseudo-guru or so-called spiritual master. These words of Srila Prabhupada speak for themselves. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna.
Yes, they do. And false ego is a very hard thing to overcome. And it becomes manifested in terms of accumulation of money and the enjoyment of the material world, and more specifically in terms of relationships with women for men. And we have Pure Angelo. I think he's still on the class, I hope.
He said he had to go.
Oh, he had to go. Okay, we're going to ask Chaitanya Das, he's with us, if he could make a few comments on today's discussion.
Hare Krishna, please accept my humble obeisance, all Guru Srila Prabhupada. This is a quick comment I wanted to make in regards to what His Grace Vishwakarma Prabhu said in the morning, earlier before the class started, about submissive to Prabhupada's, or submissive to what? I think the intelligent question that many people forget to ask is that our surrender is to not some person, some organization, some guru. Our submission should be to Srila Prabhupada and his instruction to pure devotee. That is the only way we can get that benefit of Kṛṣṇa giving us that bija of devotional service. We cannot get devotional service by surrendering to some person, some human being that's wearing this Vaishnava clothes. That's not the proper procedure. We should be submissive to the pure devotee and his instructions. And I feel that if you do that, then the bija will automatically fructify, and we can progress further in our devotional path. So I thought that was very important. I think that word is very important to understand for all of us as followers of Srila Prabhupada.
Yes, that's true. And I want to encourage everyone to study the Nectar of Devotion. It's a very informative piece of literature that will give us a deeper insight into how to become servants of the pure devotee, His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, Nila Shama in Miami, Florida. Maybe you have a comment or a question for Yashodanandana Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Jai Shila Prabhupada. After having finished the auspicious month of Kartik yesterday, let us all offer our best wishes to Yashodanand Prabhu because he had his birthday yesterday. So may he continue to inspire us for many, many more years. This
Yes,
is more of a selfish demand because the way he surrendered is there's better things awaiting him in afterlife. But I think the joy of sharing Krishna consciousness is tremendous. So let me start with that. There was a very interesting part which I would like to share, which I was reading somewhere, and I'm just sharing this. It is from the Skanda Puran, and I I often look up at Chat GPT, which is a very fast way of looking up things. So this is from the Skanda Puran. Dhyan Moolam Gurur Murti, Puja Moolam Guror Padam, Mantra Moolam Guror Vakyam, Moksha Moolam Guror Kripa. What does this mean? The root of meditation is the Guru's form. See, this itself throws away all Mayavad philosophy. So, if you want to meditate, you meditate on Srila Prabhupada. Root of worship is Guru's feet. It is that is why we sing in the Guru Puja also, right? Guru Mukha Padma Vakya Chitete Koriya Aika. That is the root of mantra is Guru's words, And then, of course, I think the last paragraph, what does the Guru Puja say? About Haha Prabhu Karo Daya, Deho More Pada Chaya. Give me the shelter of your lotus feet. So the root of worship is Guru's feet. The root of mantra is Guru's word. So if we were to change the word, we are changing the mantra which will help us to liberate. And root of liberation is Guru's grace. Moksha Moola Guru Kripa. So until and unless we don't get Guru's grace, we don't get Guru Kripa, how are we going to get liberation? And who is the real Guru? We have to understand that too. There's another part which I would like to share, which, I think is synonyms and translation. If you notice, why does Prabhupada write synonyms whenever he finishes any kind of Sanskrit text? And if you look at the definition of synonym is what? Synonyms are words or phrases in the same language that have similar or identical meaning. What is the purpose of it? To enhance expression, avoid repetition, and to find most suitable word for a specific context. Now, why does Prabhupada not write synonym and not translation? Because if you look at the definition of translation, translation is the process of converting words or phrases or text from one language to another. Now, you may lose a little gist because of that. That is why Prabhupada says, no, I'm going to give you the actual meaning, which it means in Sanskrit in a less perfect language, which is English. And that is why he calls it synonyms. He doesn't call it translation. But I would love to know what you call Yashodanand Prabhu would like to say. Why is these two differences? Because these are small, subtle differences, but they're making a huge impact. We are not translating. We are telling you exactly the same thing. Prabhupada is telling you the exact same thing, which is there in the Sanskrit language for us. Now, where can we get such a person? Where else can we get such a message which is pure and unadulterated? And then we try to add our own little stupidity because we are all full of these four mistakes: under illusion, imperfect senses, tendency to cheat, and tendency to make mistakes. Hare Krishna.
Well, it's a very important point that you're raising here. And if we analyze the way that Prabhupada preaches, because when you study these lectures, for example, and if you look on the computer, Prabhupada is constantly quoting from different text of Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, Vedic literatures, Chaitanya Charitamrita. And many times in his books, if you take the overall teachings, he will explain a Sanskrit word in a different way, depending on the context and what he is preaching. And this is the amazing power of a pure devotee, because we see in the Chaitanya Charitamrita that it is explained that Vaishnava kriya nabhujaya, that even the most intelligent man cannot understand the activities of an empowered Vaishnava, of a Shuddha Vaishnava, of a pure devotee. That is why there's a big difference between technical Sanskrit scholars or academic Sanskrit scholars and a pure devotee scholar. In other words, we don't just take anybody who just knows Sanskrit or Bengali. That is not sufficient. One has to be a devotee and a pure devotee. And that is why Srila Prabhupada was so successful and empowered. He's delivering the pure message, this is very important verse here. Prabhupada explains in Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 9, Chapter 5, Text 20, Durvasa Muni said, I'm very pleased with you, my dear king. At first, I thought of you as an ordinary human being and accepted your hospitality. But later I could understand by my own intelligence that you are the most exalted devotee of the Lord. Therefore, simply by seeing you, touching your feet, and talking with you, I've been pleased and have become obliged to you. Prabhupada explains in a purport, it is said, Vaishnavara Kriya Mudra Vignehana Bhujaya. Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Lila 2339. Even a very intelligent man cannot understand the activities of a pure Vaishnava. Therefore, because Durvasa Muni was a great mystic yogi, he first mistook Maharaj Ambarisha for an ordinary human being and wanted to punish him. Such is the mistaken observation of a Vaishnava. When Durvasa Muni was persecuted by the Sudarshana Chakra, however, his intelligence developed. Therefore, the word Atma Medasa is used to indicate that by his personal experience, he would understand how great a Vaishnava the king was. In other words, this is a very, very important point that is misunderstood even by many devotees, because I've seen on the internet, some people will try to criticize Srila Prabhupada, claiming that his views on cosmology, race, religions, women, family, marriage, so many different topics of different social views are not in line with modern academia or the woke culture or the modern so-called scientific understanding. Well, this is a different culture. This is the representative of Vedic culture, of Vaishnava culture. We're not interested in materialistic, sense gratification culture that totally misinterprets the Vedic literature. That is why Prabhupada's teachings are so important. That's why Prabhupada will sometimes translate a verse in a certain way in one lecture, a different way in another lecture, in a different way in his books. We have to see the context. Hare Krishna.
Thank you very much. And thank you everyone for attending today's program, Bhagavad Gita as it is, from the unedited, unadulterated translations in this and other books for your benefit and everyone's benefit. And we will be back tomorrow morning with Srimad Bhagavatam class. And I wanted to let you know that we are moving forward with the publication, the publishing of the Srimad Bhagavatam Delhi versions. So we'll give you further information moving forward, but it is in motion. Congratulations to everyone, and thank you everyone for your support in all the efforts that we're making here to protect Prabhupada's legacy with the Prabhupada Disciples Association, Hare Krishna Society. We're going to chant along with Srila Prabhupada this kirtan that he did back in the 60s, I should say. So chant along, And thank you again for being a part of this wonderful transcendental association. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Thanks everybody for participating into the program. Vanchakalpa tarubhyascha kripa sindubhya evacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavibhyo namo namaham. I offer my respectful obeisances unto all the Vaishnava devotees of the Lord who can fulfill the desires of everyone just like desire trees and are full of compassion for the fallen souls. Thanks everybody for participating. Thanks Vishwakarma Prabhu in Mexico, Neil Sharma Prabhu in Florida. Thank you very much. And everybody who made comments, I realize we were a little late today and I apologize for the mess up with my system. There were two devices unknowingly. And tomorrow morning, 7 o'clock, Srimad Bhagavatam, we invite everybody to participate.
Good night.
Any other comment? Somebody has comment? Comment, chastisement, admonishments are always welcome. We will assemble tomorrow morning, 7 o'clock Pacific Standard Time, corresponding to 10 o'clock a.m., Hamilton, Ontario time, and Florida time. Hare Krishna, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.